Hello, this is Adam Pernod with AutoPerspectives, and it is time for another news roundup. So let's take a look at some of the more interesting things that have happened recently in the auto industry. And I'll note that we are about a month away from IAA in Munich. So a few automakers are kind of saving up all their big news for September. But in the meantime, there are still some interesting things to talk about. We will start with Kia and the PV5 Tech Day. Now, back in 2020, Kia announced plans to get into the commercial vehicle business. They no doubt looked at automakers like Volkswagen and Ford. Ford Pro in particular has turned out to be a big moneymaker for the company. And so Kia said, we want a piece of the action as well. They unveiled their plans a couple of years ago at the Consumer Electronics Show. And last year, the PV5, the first of several new vans, was unveiled. This is a midsize passenger cargo van. And the goal of this tech day was to showcase the capabilities and the flexibility and modularity of the setup. The PV5 uses PBV, which is Kia's platform beyond vehicle. It is a 400-volt system derived from the 800-volt eGMP that underpins most Kia EVs at the moment. Kia notes that the flexible body system enables up to 16 variants through a building block modular approach, which modularizes components such as body structures, doors, tailgates, and exterior and interior panels. And you can see in the upper left photo there, kind of the Lego setup of all the different bits and pieces that can be used to create a variety of PV5s. Kia notes that the rear end modules, quarter glass, and roof height can be flexibly swapped like puzzle pieces. They note that this is tailored for business with connected software, expandable accessories, and a professional conversion strategy that enables a scalable lineup expansion. There are 7 base configurations between passenger, cargo, tall roof, short roof, and the long and short wheelbase versions. The low floor is made possible by using a suspension layout optimized for this architecture. And Kia also notes that to help keep costs down, they designed this with serviceability in mind. So there are modular brackets to simplify maintenance. They also optimized part sharing and tailored the battery and motor systems for specific use cases. At the rear of the vehicle, dual-layer plastic composite rear garnishes have a 3-piece design. This enhances body flexibility, structural integrity, and repairability. Because PV5s will come out of the factory, you've got 7 different variations, but some folks might want something a little more particular. There is a PBV conversion center, which will launch at the time of production, and that will offer factory quality conversions built to the same durability and safety standards as the rest of the Kia lineup. There's an online portal system that gives global partners access to technical data, manuals, and even a one-on-one technical hotline if you have a serious question. So the PV5 will be followed by the larger PV7 in 2027 and an even larger PV9 in 2029. Overall, Kia seems to have checked all the boxes on how to make a successful commercial vehicle. It's not unattractive. It's not gorgeous. It doesn't have to be, but it's not ugly. It seems to have all the appropriate modularity and flexibility and low cost of ownership that a business owner would want. Probably the only challenge is that, as we've seen, EV demand is sort of starting to level off. And so in part because of the infrastructure challenges in some markets. So there may be some businesses that just don't really want an electric vehicle. They would prefer either a hybrid or an internal combustion van. So, but aside from that, if you are shopping for an electric commercial van, I think Kia offers a very promising candidate. From here, we'll switch over to China to IM Motors. IM Motors is part of the larger SAIC, or the Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation. This is their premium EV unit. But as we've seen with the EV demand starting to level off, other automakers have been adding various plug-in hybrid vehicles into their portfolios, and some have been going down the EREV route, like the original Chevrolet Volt or the BMW i3, and that's a series hybrid, essentially an EV with an onboard gasoline-powered range extender. And IM has watched this as well. So even though IM has been selling nothing but EVs for the past several years, they have now unveiled their first EREV. The system is called a Hongsheng or Star system, and it uses a pretty sizable 66 kilowatt hour battery. That's the largest among the EREVs currently in the market. That is about the same size as the battery inside the similarly sized Tesla Model Y, and it's coupled with an 800-volt electrical architecture for faster DC charging. With the battery, the claimed range works out to about 210 miles on the EPA equivalent cycle, which is okay. A Tesla Model Y will go about 275 miles. But remember, this is an EREV. So in the event your battery runs low, there is a gasoline engine under the hood to keep you going for a total of 700 miles EPA equivalent, so about 2.5 times as long as a Tesla Model Y. The charge rate is estimated at 268 kilowatts, which is faster than just about any other EREV or plug-in hybrid out there. Not as fast as some EVs, but that will get you 145 miles in EV range in 15 minutes. So on top of what is already a pretty competitive compact SUV, IM now offers the EREV flexibility that not every player in this segment offers. So we'll see how it does once they hit the market shortly. Now, the flip side of the IM story is the Li Auto story. Li Auto is a Chinese startup that was founded in 2015, and they launched their first vehicle in 2019. That vehicle was an EREV, and up until today, all they offered was EREVs. But as they have seen other EV brands expand into EREVs, they really realized that to cover their bases, they need to go from EREVs into EVs. And so the i8, as in BMW i8, not coincidentally, is their first EV. This is a midsize MPV-inspired SUV with 2+2+2 seating. Up front, very smooth, almost 1.5 box profile with a light bar beneath the windshield, so that's your primary lighting source. There are flush door handles, and they're claiming a drag coefficient of 0.218. Technically, they say lower than a Tesla Model Y. Keep in mind that unless you're testing both vehicles in the same wind tunnel, you will probably not be able to compare them because there's always some variations in how that's all measured. But 0.218 is still pretty impressive no matter what wind tunnel you happen to be in. The base price is about $45,000, so definitely competitive among other midsize three-row SUV EVs. The base model puts out 536 horsepower, which will get you from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 4.5 seconds. And the battery is either 90 or 98 kilowatt hours. To be honest, the sizes are close enough. I'm not sure why you didn't get a little more separation between the smallest battery and the largest battery, but they will take you up to 335 miles EPA equivalent EV range. They are 5C batteries, so they will fully charge in about 12 minutes and claim 145 miles EPA equivalent range in about 10 minutes. Inside the vehicle, there's no IP cluster per se. You can see the photo in the top right, but there is a screen for warning lights. But there is a center giant touchscreen and another giant touchscreen in front of the passenger as well. You can get a 21-inch screen that descends from the ceiling for the rear-mounted passengers, and there is a built-in refrigerator as well. Underneath is the Magic Carpet dual-chamber air suspension with 4 different ride heights, and all of the i8s come with LiDAR as standard and 2 levels of automated driving available. Both are highway and urban capable, and both use what Li Auto calls the Vision Language Action AI model. Li Auto also wanted to address the question of safety. There's a video that showcased the immersion of the battery underwater for 10 days, the battery being frozen at 40 degrees centigrade below zero for 24 hours, and dropping that battery from a height of 10 meters. No fires, no explosions, nothing broke. So it seems to be a pretty durable battery and overall pretty safe. Li Auto has had a bit of a rough couple of years. The MPV that they launched, the Mega, was not very well received. So they're hoping that this EV, which is also being positioned as an SUV, is going to do a little better for them in the market. And finally, we'll finish off with the return of a nameplate that means a lot to the kind of Fast and Furious crowd. This is the Honda Prelude. The teaser page was just unveiled in Japan prior to its formal launch in September. The Prelude name hasn't been in production for almost 25 years. Honda did show a concept 2 years ago, and the concept pretty much previewed what the production vehicle looks like here. Just as the Acura Integra is a Civic hatchback in a classier suit, the Prelude is similarly related to the Civic Coupe. So if you look at the two side by side, you'll see just overall similar proportions. The Prelude does have a shorter wheelbase and a wider track for a better stance. 19-inch wheels are standard, and there are a number of accessories already available on the Japanese site, like a rear spoiler and front splitters. Honda has told us that the Prelude will use the Civic Type R's dual-axis front suspension to mitigate torque steer. And if you've ever driven a high-performance vehicle that is front drive, you will understand the need to do that. Now, underneath the Prelude, or under the hood, I should say, is the Civic Hybrid's 2-liter Atkinson 4-cylinder engine and a pair of electric motors. In the Civic, that puts out about 200 horsepower We would expect in the Prelude to see some more power, just because the Prelude is a sports car nameplate, and you would expect a bit of a performance boost there. Although Honda has noted this is not necessarily going to be the fastest car on the track. Honda's S Plus shift transmission is not a CVT per se, although it's branded as an eCVT. It's intended to provide EV-type throttle responsiveness with simulated gear shifts, which we've seen other EVs do as well. There are 4 exterior colors and 2 different interior color schemes. And yes, if you look closely, you can see the similarities between the Prelude's interior and the Civic's interior. To be honest, in a market today where cars are becoming increasingly rare, it's nice to see someone bring a car back to market, let alone a coupe, which is even rarer than your standard 4-door, 5-door car that's out there. I don't think this is going to be setting any sales records, but we have seen some automakers back out of what you might call the pony car market. The Camaro is gone. The Dodge Charger is much bigger and heavier than the Challenger, and that kind of leaves the Mustang and the Toyota 86 and the Subaru BRZ and maybe the Mazda MX-5. So this does give Honda a somewhat affordable performance vehicle to get some young buyers into the showroom. So we'll see how it does when it launches in Japan later this year, and then it will come to the US and other markets in early 2026. And that about wraps things up for AutoPerspectives News Roundup this week. To learn about our blog and learn more about AutoPerspectives, please visit us at AutoPerspectives.net. If you liked what you saw and heard, please subscribe and share, and we will see you back here in about a week or so.